Nobody can state with certainty that I'm wrong on this. And the silence from the state officials is pretty devastating on this. It's pretty deafening. It's clear this is out there. It's clear. I mean, this is now trended on X twice, this claim that he was. This bait stamp right here, 3996R2, and this bait stamp right here, 3996R1. I'm going to show you that when you are bait stamping a document, this is standard legal practice. If a party subsequently reproduces in redacted form a document that had previously been inadvertently produced and was then returned or destroyed in its entirety based on a request under this paragraph, the subsequently produced redacted version of this document shall bear the same bait stamps number as the original produced document, along with an R suffix. So what this is saying is, in the legal profession, in discovery, when you produce a document or a video and you alter it in some way, or you take it away, it's removed, it's stricken from the record. Oh, now we're allowed to put it back in. For whatever reason, if the document changes in any material respect, you don't change the bait stamp number. So if a document was produced 3996 in the state of Utah versus Tyler Robinson, and then you revise the document somehow, you redact the document somehow, you change the document somehow. When you produce it again, you do 3996, but you let everyone know it's a different version by putting R1 at the end. And when you do it again, you put another suffix at the end, R2. So R2 is the third version of bait stamped document 3996 or bait stamped video 3996, but it's the same video. So I go back to our earliest version of encountering this. This was on the motion to exclude cameras back on March 30th. This is when we decided this 6:25 p.m. looked to us like it was September 11th, Thursday, in Washington County. But there was nothing in the four corners of this document that answered that question other than this sentence right here. So we had to really just draw an inference, a big inference. But it turns out we drew it correctly, because it wasn't until we got this separate document right here that we were then able to confirm where bait stamp 3996 came from. This was an earlier version of the exact same document that was represented right here. And if this document right here is from Washington County Sheriff's Office on 9/11, then this document right here is from Washington County Sheriff's Office on 9/11. That is a fact. That's the only way to read this that I can think of. I cannot come to another conclusion of how this would be any other way. So this 3996R1 right here, see that right there? And then you come back up to this 3996R1 up here. These are both from 9/11, 3996R1 right up here. And this is 3996R1 right here. There's a footnote on this, again, from 9/11, but there's a footnote on this, and it says why they're going to introduce it. This video will be edited to include only the period from 650 to 715 to show defendant's clothing. Why is that important? Because this, if you remember the probable cause statement, or the statement in support of the facts, the affidavit, said that his clothing he was wearing when he turned himself in was consistent with clothing that he was seen wearing in Orem, Utah. I don't know. I think it was the maroon shirt, maybe the sneakers he was wearing, the type of pants or shorts he was wearing. I don't remember exactly what it was. But what they're saying is we're going to introduce this to prove he was wearing the same clothing, meaning the video footage isn't exactly clear it's him. So we're going to have you make an inference based on the fact that he's wearing the same clothing in both of these videos. He's wearing the clothing in Orem, Utah, and he's wearing the clothing in Washington County, and they look the same. And because of that, we're going to show you the video, because the video in Washington County from September 11th is going to be clear that it's him. We took him in, we booked him, or they didn't book him in Washington County, but we identified him. He's right there, ID, those are his parents. I mean, it's clear that's Tyler Robinson in Washington County on September 11th in bait stamp 3996R1. Well, 3996R2 is the same video. So if that was Tyler Robinson in Washington County in bait stamp video 3996, and they're using that to show he's wearing the same clothing, then when you go back to the other document that we were analyzing before, then that's Tyler Robinson in the same clothing being Mirandized in Washington County. This precludes that this is Utah County. It precludes that it's the following day in a different location. Why? Because when you produce documents, in discovery, you don't edit them. You don't edit documents together. Every source document gets its own bait stamps number. So if I produced for you a video of Tyler Robinson driving his car down the road, and I got it from a flock camera, that's going to get its own bait stamp number. It's going to be bait stamp, let's call it 1253. And then I have Ring doorbell footage of Tyler Robinson driving down the road. That's going to get its own bait stamp number. That's going to be 1254 or 3735 or whatever. They're going to each set of documents, each video gets its own bait stamp number. It just does. You cannot edit everything together and put it in one bait stamp document. That's not how discovery works. It raises too many questions about who's messing with these things. You're supposed to turn these over as you receive them. Here's a document we received from Washington County. We're going to call it 3996. Here's a document we received from Utah County. We're going to call it some other number. You would not take the booking footage from Washington County, edit in the Miranda footage from Utah County, and make it one long video. You would never do that. Any lawyer who suggests you would do that is wrong. I challenge a legal person who's ever been involved in criminal litigation to tell me that that's possible, that they've ever even seen that. I've been involved in a lot of cases. I've never seen that. Every source gets its own bait stamp. Every source. Every page gets its own bait stamp. Every video source gets its own bait stamp. And what happens is you produce a video and then you describe the video on that bait stamp document. Here's the video we received from Washington County. We're going to call it 3996. On it goes. Here's the video we received from Utah County. We're going to call it 3997. On it goes. You would never merge the documents. You would never blend footage together. It doesn't work that way. It doesn't work that way. And so I think this is pretty bulletproof evidence that these people have been wrong. And I don't mean the podcasters. I'm not talking about Gary. I'm not talking about Burkhart. I'm not talking about these people. I'm talking about the sheriff who claims all this happened after 8 o'clock. I'm talking about the governor. I'm talking about Kash Patel. All these people, here's Kash, for example. I got a video of Kash telling you that they doctored the footage first, but that the parents saw the video at 8 o'clock, and that's what caused them to reach out to him. It's not true.
After that 8 p.m. release, at 10 p.m. local time, the suspect was in custody. Why? Because the father informed us, pursuant to an interview of him, that he looked at the video that we released that evening and the enhanced photos and identified the suspect.
And the enhanced photos. So we doctored the photos and we got the Bigfoot video. And that's how we knew, because this is the 8 p.m. release that they're showing you in the corner right here. The 8 p.m. release is the grainy footage of him running across the top of the roof looking like Bigfoot. That's Kash Patel telling you that the father did not make the call until after 8 p.m., until after that video was released. And I'm here to tell you, I don't believe that's true. And I think we're owed an answer, because the consequences of me being correct are devastating. Devastating. Not just to Gary, not just to Andrea, not to Andrew and Blake, not to the podcasters. It's devastating to us, the people of the United States of America. A beloved political figure, a national treasure, was shot and killed on television. I mean, on video, in broad daylight, at noon, on a Wednesday. And if evidence has been doctored, if narratives have been created after the fact, if at 6:25 p.m. he tells everybody, whoa, I'm not talking without a lawyer, no way, not going to happen. Sorry. I heard his office is closed for the night, but my parents are trying to get in touch with him. That wouldn't even make sense to say that the next night. Wouldn't even make sense to say that. How would he know the office is closed for the night on Friday? How did they know? How did he know the parents didn't get in touch with him that day? He hadn't been in touch with his parents in almost 24 hours. So it doesn't even make sense from a logical perspective, just reading what he said in that document. But it makes even less sense when you look at the bait stamps and you put the two documents together. You got bait stamp 3996 over here, clearly describing Washington County Sheriff's Office on 9/11. And you got bait stamp 3996 on this side, clearly describing a 6:25 encounter with law enforcement where he's being Mirandized. Now, I think you could probably conclude that I'm right. Could I be wrong? I don't think so. I mean, maybe. I'm not ever going to say that I'm 100% right on anything. There's an outside possibility that they violated every rule of discovery I've ever been involved in, that they edited multiple surveillance footages together into a single video for some reason. And the judge is going to be like, yeah, that's normal. That's fine. And the defense is going to be like, it's funny you did that, but we'll allow it. But nobody can state with certainty I'm wrong. I can tell you that. There's not a single podcaster, there's not a single legal expert who can get on any show tonight, tomorrow, any other time and say, that Baron Coleman, he's wrong, and I know he's wrong, and here's why. Here's how I know he was Mirandized on September 12th, Friday, in Utah County, and not September 11th in Washington County at 6:25 p.m. Not one. And remember how I handled it. I think I'm right. I think all evidence points to the fact that I'm right. I leave open the outside chance I'm wrong. Sure. I leave open the outside chance that they did something completely novel in this case, and they edited video footage together to create a very long, multi-source, single video, and that it's $39.96. And even though it's described in their legal pleadings as coming from Washington County, that for some reason, somehow we're going to say it didn't. Okay. I mean, I leave open that possibility. I do. I leave open that possibility. Will the other side leave open the possibility I'm right? Will they say, we don't necessarily agree with Barron. Here's why, but he could be right, because that would be an honest way to handle this. Nobody can state with certainty that I'm wrong on this. And the silence from the state officials is pretty devastating on this. It's pretty deafening. It's clear this is out there. It's clear. I mean, this is now trended on X twice, this claim that he was Mirandized at 6:25 p.m. It trended in early April the first time I made the claim, and it was trending tonight when I went to the show and I pulled up X to look. It may still be. I don't know. So it's not as if they're not aware people are talking about this. Yeah, it's still up here. It's got more stories on it than any other story on it. Look at that. Baron Coleman claims confirmation of Tyler Robinson's custody at Washington County. So it's not as if they're not aware this is being discussed. Georgia Power down here, Thomas Massey up here. Those are your three trending stories right now on X. And the fact that they won't come out and clarify it tells you I'm probably right. Tells you I'm probably right. And the fact that they won't dignify you, the American public, who they claim to serve, with clarity on this issue and say, no. Here's when he was Mirandized. Here's where that video took place. Here's when he was actually in custody. To me, tells me a lot. Because again, the consequences of me being right is more than just, hey, this favors Tyler or this. The consequences of me being right is that there is a multi-agency cover-up to frame Tyler Robinson. Why? Because he then supposedly, an hour and a half after that Miranda recording, if I'm right, the Miranda reading, he supposedly confessed to his buddies on Discord. And if I'm right, who the hell wrote that Discord message? Was it Tyler? Did Tyler talk to his parents and talk to the sheriff and assert his right he wanted to be silent, and then grabbed someone's phone, logged into Discord, and started confessing to anyone who would listen? Really? That's how Tyler handled it, this brilliant guy who planned and executed a national treasure on his own with no assistance? That's how smart he is? He's going to say he doesn't want to talk, but then an hour and a half later, he's going to confess to everyone he knows? So the consequences of me being right raises the question of who wrote the Discord message? Who wrote it? Did Tyler Robinson write that Discord message? And if Tyler didn't write that Discord message and someone faked it, why? Why did they fake the Discord message? And if they faked the Discord message, did they fake the text messages? Well, we can't know because they're not going to introduce the forensic evidence of this. They're just going to introduce the screenshots. Well, I'm here to tell the judge and the prosecution and the defense, hey, raise this issue in front of the judge, because I think that's why they're getting out in front of this. I think Utah's getting out in front of this. I think that's why they included the date. That's why they included the bait stamp number. I think the defense wanted people to know we're aware he was Mirandized on 6/25. Please talk about it. I think that's why they included it in their filing. And I think the estate heard the kerfuffle taking place and said, we got to get out ahead of this too, because what they don't want to happen is everyone in the courtroom to be under the impression that he was Mirandized at 6:25 p.m. in Utah County. And then it comes out in open court during the preliminary hearing that, no, that was in Washington County on September 11th. That's going to be devastating if that comes out in court.